me, and she called me and she was like, I have a client. It's not a normal job. Like, they don't want a restaurant chef. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, can you tell me more about it? Like, who's it for? Where is it? All these things. And she was like, it's Jessica Simpson. And I was like, I grew up watching the Newlyweds. I am a millennial to the core. And I was like, that's cool. She's a dream. So I took the job and worked there for the better part of maybe a year or two.
You're listening to Food Empires by Grocer's List. I'm your host, Ben Jabali. All right, we are live. We are back with another episode. I'm here with Gaby Dalkin, our fourth customer and more widely known, almost an internet celebrity at this point.
No.
Oh, come on. You're the creator behind What's Gaby Cooking, New York Times best-selling cookbook author multiple times now, I think.
Twice.
And then, amazing. And then you also founded your own brand of spices, your spice line, Dalkin Co. So we'll talk about that. And now a restaurant too, Gaby's.
I mean, listen, we are keeping it booked and busy, and I'm so excited to be here with you, Ben. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. I think there's a lot of people that are familiar with your brand today and follow along. And, you know, you've got 1 million plus followers. I actually remember when you hit 1 million, that was pretty cool. I want to go back and just like understand how you got here, right? I went deep into the files. We'll pull up some old Instagram posts of yours. It looks like your first post was 2011.
Yeah.
Is that when you first started everything?
Well, I started What's Gaby Cooking in 2009 or 10, maybe. I had recently graduated college. I was working in the fashion industry. The economy was like tanking. The company I was working for was going under. And rather than attempt to find a new job, I was like, I'm so interested in food and cooking. I loved cooking for my tennis team in college. I loved cooking for my friends. So I decided it was a smart idea to go to culinary school, like truly just for fun. I had absolutely no intention of going into the food world, nor did I even know there was a career to be had there.
Right, right.
So I went to culinary school. If you can hear a small child in the background, my son just got home, so sorry. So I went to culinary school. I started culinary school. I started my blog, What's Gaby Cooking, at the same week. And I started psychotically working as a private chef, which is hysterical because I hadn't gone to culinary school. So I actually didn't know what the heck I was doing. But I was like, let's wing it and find out. And I'm like, you know, the kitchen's the heart of the home.
How did you even get that, though?
Well, in fairness, I interviewed for this family to be their nanny. And when they found out I was going to culinary school, they were like, pivot. And I was like, cool. Can I charge a little bit more for that? Yeah, like in game. And I tell you, these people, like, they were the most incredible family and like such an amazing place to get my footing. They loved fish, and I had never eaten fish in my life, nor did I know how to make it. And the first time I ever made them like miso cod or something like that, it was like the most ugly, disgusting looking fish. I mean, it tasted fine, but like it was not pretty. The presentation was lacking. But I just kind of did it. And I did all three of those things at the same time for, you know, almost a year.
Amazing. And your parents are both doctors, is that right?
My dad's a doctor. My mom was a PT, and now she's an artist. Like, she went back to school to get an art degree after my sister and I were like a little bit older. Maybe we were in middle school or high school, and she had a little bit more time. She went back to University of Arizona, got an art degree, and now she does all sorts of mixed media. So, but yes, I come from my uncle is a doctor. Like, I come from a medical family. My aunt's a nurse. Like I wanted to go to medical school. Like, I was pre-med in college for a year and a half until I got an F on my test in some chemistry. And I was like, oh, I don't know if this is how I'm supposed to help people. So this might not be for me.
I mean, I can only imagine what it was like when you told your parents that
you
were going to do this.
I called my dad. So when I called my dad, I was maybe a sophomore, like my second semester sophomore year. And I was like, hey, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. And he goes, that's okay. Like, He was like, he was like, I didn't know if you were like, I just was going to be pre-med because everyone in my family was in the medical world. And like, that's what I thought the next step was. I don't know if
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to help people, but I don't necessarily, I don't know, like it just wasn't the right path for me. And like, I got somewhere where I still do get to help people. But, if we're being totally honest, deep down, I do still think I could deliver someone's child. Like, should we be stuck in an elevator together? Like, I am a doctor by proxy because of my parents, which is psychotic, and I'm fully aware of that. But like, that's my life.
That's amazing. And then you could offer them probably a way more refined black cod recipe after they deliver.
Correct. I can deliver your child and make you your first postpartum meal. I am your girl.
So, all right. So you're doing some private chefing, and then you get hooked up with Jessica Simpson along the way. Like, what was that?
Yes. So I was cooking for this family in Malibu. I was there every day, lunch and dinner, making breakfast, popping in the fridge for them. And I was with them probably for like 2 or 3 years. And then I had like a stint where I was working as a food stylist assistant for Adam, who is Matt and Adam are my very best friends. Certainly like my 2 work husbands in the industry. Matt's an incredible food photographer. Adam, his husband, is a food stylist. And the family I was cooking for went to Malibu or went to Kauai for the summer. So I didn't have a job because I wasn't going to go with them. And I started working with Adam. And I was food styling, assisting him for a number of weeks. And then I got a phone call listen, I live in Los Angeles. There are such things here as called domestic placement agencies, which is like not normal, but like it's where people hire personal assistants, nannies,
I see.
all that kind of stuff, private chefs. And Claudia, the woman who owned one of these agencies, and I had become close over the years. I had cooked for her like on a couple one-off jobs, and she just loved me. And she called me and she was like, I have a client. It's not a normal job. Like they don't want a restaurant chef. They want someone who can like seamlessly integrate into their like very fun life of like the life of their home. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, can you tell me more about it? Like, who's it for? Where is it? All these things. And she was like, it's Jessica Simpson. And I was like, I grew up watching the Newlyweds. I am a millennial to the core. And I was like, that's cool. So I went and I tested for her, and she's a dream. So I took the job and worked there for, I don't know, the better part of maybe a year and a half or two. I don't remember. And then she was going to film a TV show and like wasn't going to be home for 6 months. And I had still been doing What's Gaby Cooking at the same time. So, I was a couple years into private chefing. I was a couple years into What's Gaby Cooking. I was making like very small dollars as far as the website goes. But I was like, if I'm going to make a go at this, no better time like the present. Like, let's try. And if worst comes to worst, like I'll go back to Jess if this doesn't work when she's done with the show, or I'll find another family to cook for. And here we are 12 years later.
Amazing. So let's talk about the early days of the blog. So you're private chefing for her and her family. You come home at the end of the day?
No. I mean, sometimes like I would take pictures of what I was cooking at my clients' homes. Like I took my little point and shoot. If you can dig, I've honestly, most posts on What's Gaby Cooking have been revised at this point.
Okay, I was going to say,
photography.
Yeah.
You won't find a lot of the gems. Thomas has like an Instagram account that makes fun of me. If you go back on his Instagram account, you can see some of the real gems that I used to post, because he has posted them in the last couple of years, like giving me a hard time. But I would shoot stuff at their homes. I would shoot stuff at night in my home. I would shoot stuff on the weekends. I always did a lot of entertaining for my friends. So like there was a lot of, I immersed myself so deeply in the food world in every sense of it. I was always capturing content.
Amazing. And so you were monetizing at the time. It sounds like it was pennies, but it was through ads on the site.
Lightly monetizing. Yeah, I had ads on my hideously designed Blogspot page.
Oh, wow.
It was like
Blogspot.
black with like neon font and a caricature for my, like, it was so ugly, but I loved it. And I paid like $200 for the design, and I was so proud of it.
Yeah, that's all you needed at the time.
It was all you needed. SEO didn't matter. So
where would you promote? Like you would post, but where would you promote that? Right?
Twitter.
Oh,
There was only Twitter. And you know what? Twitter was actually such a beautiful place. Everyone was so supportive. Like Maria from Two Peas in Their Pod and I became so close on Twitter. Like we
wow.
became friends on Twitter, which is like she was the first person I ever knew in the food world. Like Jessica from How Sweet Eats, we would like tweet to each other, we would DM. Like these were I looked at
Wow.
them as my coworkers because we all operate in such a silo.
Yeah.
um it was a really very pure time. So I would promote on Twitter. I had very few people reading my site. I got a $125 sponsored post deal as my first, foray into monetizing outside of ads. And
Who
that's
was
where we
that with?
started. I honestly can't remember. It was a frozen
Uh,
French fry company. I don't even know if they exist anymore, to be honest. Like I'd have to
yeah,
go
yeah.
walk the frozen food aisle and see if a
Yeah.
logo like jogged my memory.
That's so
But
funny.
if it was a frozen French fry company.
For a post on Instagram or not even?
No, Instagram didn't exist at this point,
Right,
or
right.
nobody was monetizing it there at least. I mean, I think it was probably a blog post and a tweet. Like that
Yeah.
was the sweet. Now it's like you want a reel and you want this and this and this. Like back then, the sweet was a tweet and a blog post.
So with such like limited network of people doing this alongside you,
Hmm.
how did you know that there was an opportunity here? Like, why'd you
Um,
keep going?
I think, well, I mean, while I was private chefing, it was really easy to keep going because I had an income stream, you know? And by the time I stopped private chefing, What's Gaby Cooking had started making like okay money, like enough to pay my rent and pay for the groceries. We were like living on a shoestring budget. We were not going out to eat all the time. We were like I come from a very frugal upbringing. Like the only thing my parents ever spent money on was trips. Like they never had nice cars. We didn't go to private school, like all these things. Like I have a very frugal upbringing. So like Thomas and I were, just very smart about how we spent our money when I went full time with What's Gaby Cooking because the income was, it was just enough to cover the bills. And he was working as in the advertising agencies world, entry level. So like we were just, kind of trying to piece it together, month by
Amazing.
month.
So I tried digging deep, as I
Hmm.
said, because the thing that's always stood out to me about your account is the photography. I mean, the food's obviously amazing too, but like the styling, the colors,
Thank you.
it just like it's
It's
it
very thought about. Like that is a very big part of our brand presence and what we think about in everyday life.
even dating back to 2011. Like even though I know you cleaned your Instagram, you said, but like
I did.
still,
I had to give it a little.
I couldn't find anything even back then, like,
Well,
so tell me about that.
so in 2014, I told you I worked with Matt and Adam as their assistant for a number of years. And then in 2014, What's Gaby Cooking was in a place where financially like when I dropped out of pre-med, I switched over to business. So like I understood overhead costs, like I understood investing back in your own business, and I had no overhead, period. Like I had my rent and I was
Yeah.
paying for like my monthly whatever hosting for What's Gaby Cooking. Thomas moonlighted as my developer, so like I wasn't paying that fee. So the first thing I ever invested back into my business was hiring Matt and Adam to start shooting my content.
Wow.
And I mean, I would not be where I am today without them. Like they are two of the most incredible people, but so smart, and they helped me. I mean, they knew me. We were best friends by this time already. So like they helped me hone my visual voice, and
Mm,
like we made such intentional decisions about what things look like. If I had developed a recipe and, it was shooting kind of ugly, we were like, how do we fix this to make the flavor better, but also make it more beautiful? So like we're always thinking about color and texture and cooking style. Like are we searing this? We're not poaching it, like all these different things. So like we think about it all the time. We talk about it all the time. Like now, fast forward 2026. Adam and I would look at Adam as like kind of my creative culinary director. He not only styles, he does all the props, but like we talk about like I send him an idea for a recipe after I get back from a trip and I'm like, let's do this. And he's like, okay, but like, let's do it this way. Like it's such a three-way conversation between all of us. It's so fluid.
nice.
It's such a plus to have them on my team.
It's amazing when you have worked together with people for that amount of time,
Yeah.
what you can really create. Like
Yeah.
even our team here, we worked together on my last company. We've been working
Hmm.
together for like 10 years. There's so much
Because you
magic
trust
that
each other.
happens.
You
Yeah.
just, you, I know, like, we all have very strong opinions, but we know when to back off. If we're talking about lighting, I'm not going to voice my opinion. I know Matt's smarter than me on that. Like, if if like when we're concepting a cookbook, I will put all the recipes together and test them with Adam, but like Matt has this vision of what he wants it to look like. Like I can't express to anyone how lucky I feel to be able to work with not only two of the most creative people, in my opinion, in the industry, but like two of my very best friends.
It's an incredible story. I guess my big question is like, before you found them, did you
Hmm.
work with 10 others that just didn't
No,
work out?
I'm
No.
no, I'm so lucky that we were friends first and then we started
Wow.
working together. And it's cool because, when you're a business owner and you're like, it's time to start investing money into my business, doing, hiring people that are better at things than me, like all like kind of, I'm blanking on the word, delegating.
Yeah.
Uh, it's so amazing to be able to give the fees that you would be paying someone to people who you care about. Like, it's so cool. Like, I get to help. I mean, listen, like, they give me an amazing deal and they work with the biggest clients who pay them far more than I do. But like, it's nice that the money that I'm putting back into my business by way of a contractor is also two of my very best friends.
That's amazing. And it actually carries over to the other theme that like I always find in your work, which is Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Thomas is
this
a
was
big through point.
and this was your first Instagram post,
Yeah.
at least that has survived your culling.
I
Um,
love my caption. What an absolute dum dum.
so you guys got engaged in 2011. You started 2 years prior. I mean, how long have you been together?
Thomas and I have been together. Thomas, how long have we been together? 24 years, 25 years. We started dating.
Love that.
I turned 40 this year. We started dating when I was 19, 21 years.
That's so
So
cool.
can I tell you a really funny story about this picture though?
Yeah.
So this was in 2011. This was back in the day when juice cleanses were really popular. And I was like, okay, I'll like F around with a juice cleanse and see how I feel. So I was on day 7 of a juice cleanse. And Matt had called me a couple weeks prior and was like, I really need you to take a Christmas card photo for Adam and I. And I was like, you want me to take your Christmas card photo? I am so honored. Absolutely. Yes. So he picks me up and we drive to Malibu, the three of us, me, Matt, and Adam. And I'm in the back. I'm on day 7 of a juice cleanse and I am a raging emotional bee. Like, I am so hungry and I don't do well when I'm hungry. Like, that's
Fair.
that's my one, like, whatever it's called. And they're like bickering and I'm like, oh my God, please, mom and dad, please stop fighting. Like, I was so uncomfortable. Like, it was not great. I looked like shit because I just thought I was taking their picture. Everything about it was wrong. And turns out they're taking me to Malibu. Thomas is proposing to me. He got them involved
Wow.
in the whole, it was so funny.
That's
Anyways,
amazing.
that's the story behind this photo. So, I was delusional by lack of calories when I wrote that caption. All that to say. Anyways, Thomas, Matt, and Adam are key parts of my life, personally and professionally. Thomas and I have been together for 21 years. We have 2 kids. I begged him to come work with me at What's Gaby Cooking for years.
Wow.
And he wanted nothing to do with it. He was like, no, Gaby, husbands and wives that work together, they fight, they get divorced, like, like, we are keeping this separate. And I was like, please, like, you're the only person I trust, to do the web development and all the tech.
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense. I'm paying all these other people. Please come work with me. No, 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 no. And finally, in 2019, he was like, okay, let's give it a go. And the first week or two was rocky.
Wait, so that was 6 years ago already?
Yeah, he's been working
Okay.
with me for 6 years. But like,
Wow.
it took 9 years for me to get him here.
Yeah. Wow.
And like, he had amazing, cool jobs for like incredible companies like Shy at Day and 72 and Sunny. Like, he got he had such a fun advertising life. And I was like, it's not that different over here at What's Gaby Cooking. Like, come, like, be the CTO, like, lead up, like, do all that.
Yeah.
And now he is like, he has so many jobs. He's like, he runs all of Dalkin Co. And he is like CTO of What's Gaby Cooking. So like the man is so busy. But like, I'm so proud of him. Like he's like so flourished. But anyways, the first week he started working with me, we were sitting next to each other side by side at our kitchen table in our tiny little apartment in West LA. And I was like, I was loving it. And he was like, I don't want to talk to you for 14 hours a day. Like we can't work right next to each other and have like a relationship in the morning. It was like, it took us like 2 or 3 weeks to really find our groove. He eventually turned our downstairs into an office, and we had like a lot of separation during the work hours, and it obviously worked. Like, it's great. We're doing a great job, but it was really funny.
That's incredible. So it's basically the two of you. It's you and Thomas, but then it's the two on the photography side. Is there anyone else that's with you?
That's a great question. Let me look at my invoice folder so I see who I work with on a daily basis. I mean, I have an incredible manager, for lack of a better word. Sure. She does more than manage, but like, she helps me with brand deals. She is like so creative. She's known What's Gaby Cooking. We're friends first. We worked together in various capacities over the last 10 years. And she just came on to What's Gaby Cooking recently. We have Morgan, who's our developer now, because Thomas doesn't now my website is complicated. Like, now there's all these dynamic options. Like, it's a real website. So we have someone on that. We have an incredible husband-wife team that helps us with some like more step-by-step style photography and SEO. Like, we do have a lot of amazing contractors that we work with in various regards. Okay. To What's Gaby Cooking and Dalkin Co.
Okay. So let's help everyone understand like how things expanded. So it sounds like you never went back to work for Jessica Simpson. So obviously the blog started to take off. I did do
a couple random parties for her. And honestly, she's my most favorite person to cook for. So like, if she called me tomorrow, I'd go back and do another party for her.
That's great. So what happened from there? Like, you obviously were focused on What's Gaby Cooking.
Yeah, so I brought Matt and Adam on in 2014. That's also when I signed with a management company, and they started helping me, kind of develop more relationships with brands. And I worked with them for, 5 or 6 years until I moved to a different company, and then most recently took it all in-house, essentially. Something I did that I think is so important for people who are starting or getting figuring out how to make this step and make it into a larger career. I'm uber involved. Like, I don't allow any conversation to happen without me. Like, I think it's so important to know the ins and outs of your business, to speak to brands, to speak to developers, to speak to whoever it is. I am involved in all of it. I am the dishwasher. I am the CEO. I have to have my hand in everything. And maybe that's not healthy and probably a little controlling, but also like, it's worked for me and I love it. Like, I think people are always like, how do you get bigger and grow and all these different things? And I'm like, we operate such an incredible business. Like, we keep growing every year, but like, I don't need to have 17 different income streams. Like, that's too complicated, because then I lose the personal touch that I offer brands when I work with brands, or being able to respond to every single DM on my Instagram when someone has a question. Like, I have to be able to do that. That's a customer service portion of What's Gaby Cooking that I will never lose.
That's something that I've always noticed and admired. Even like, you got back to me the other day in like 3 minutes from my email.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. Yeah. Well, remember when we started using Grocer's List, and I was like, I what? Someone is going to send a link for me? Like I don't understand. Here's why though. I could never have an assistant handle my DMs, because there's so many questions about, like, I've been very public about our fertility journey. I cannot have someone responding to that on my behalf. I know my recipes forward and backwards. Like, I'm the one testing them. Like, if you live at altitude, I can't trust AI to respond to that question. Like I have to be
Totally.
the one to do that. So to relinquish any control was very scary, but you are amazing and your product is even better. So like I
You're
eventually
sweet.
got it, but don't think I wasn't scared when I started. I was probably
I
very nervous.
remember. I totally remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was crazy. So, community is obviously a big part of your growth, responding
Huge.
to messages. Let's talk about IG Live. Like,
Hmm.
how long have you been doing that? You're so consistent with that. And what is
When
that
did
all
we
about?
start? When did we start IG Live? Was it in Seattle or was it in West LA?
No, Seattle.
Okay, so in Seattle, we lived in Seattle for a hot second while Thomas was co-founded this startup. Um, and I think I was really lonely and
Oh,
really I think I was lonely, to be honest. Like I had a really hard time making friends in Seattle. I can talk to a Kleenex box. Like I'm I'm very talkative. I'm very like I love community. Community is a huge part of what's Gaby Cooking, and I just like couldn't find it in Seattle for some reason. And I think Insta Live started when the technology
yeah.
was released on Instagram, and I was like, let's try this. I was doing snap episodes at the time, which were like these psychotic like stitched together. It's basically like an Insta Live or an Insta story now, but it was on Snapchat. And I just started, and I remember Thomas would pick up the groceries on the way home from work because we only had one car and I didn't have access to a grocery store that was walkable. And we would do them from the kitchen, and he would moderate them, and I would teach people how to cook something. And it gave me so much life. Like it
Wow.
made me so happy to be able to have a conversation. So on Snapchat, I had like all these private conversations via DMs with everyone
Right.
in my community. But on Instagram Live, it was a public conversation. It
Right.
was a
Right. The
group
comments
convo,
just
right?
flow in. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's a
cool.
group conversation rather than a one-on-one. And that was incredible. Like people became friends. Like after we started doing Insta Live for a couple years, we launched What's Gaby Cooking retreats, which are like
Oh, yeah.
in-person community like building weekends. Like it just made me realize how bringing people together and
Mm.
like fostering a community. Listen, people who like to eat and who like to entertain and who like to travel, these are three things I talk about most prevalently, are pretty much always good people.
Yeah.
Like that's like a something I look for when I'm looking for friends and looking for whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. So to be able to foster that within What's Gaby Cooking has been like truly a highlight of my career.
That's amazing. So you personally get a ton out of that. They
Yeah.
also get a ton out of that. So it's
Yeah.
just like a huge part of the community. So you've
It
got
used to be far more organized, if we're being honest. Like now it's absolutely unhinged. We have two children. I'm running
I
around.
know, I know.
I've lost half of my mind. Like I think when I had Poppy, I lost a part of my mind. And then when I had Finn, I was like, I don't know what vocabulary words are anymore. Like we're just winging it. Maybe they'll come back to me one day, but like they haven't yet. So now it's chaotic. But I do think people relate to that because getting dinner on the table is so hard when you've got two kids at home who are like, Mom, I'm hungry. Mom, I'm hungry. Feed me, feed me, feed me. Like, it's just kind of chaotic.
It's amazing. And you have grown alongside your audience for all these
Hmm.
years, right? So they're probably at a very similar phase as you are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I tune in every now and then. I'm like, oh, this is hilarious. It's so relatable. It's like,
Thank you. We have a really good time with it. I did my first one. I don't know when this is airing, but like for everyone listening, we're recording this early January. So I did my first Insta Live of the year this week, and it felt so good to be back with my people. Like I
oh,
feel like I'm
nice.
sitting at my counter talking to my friends.
That's so cool. What a great
Yeah.
feeling. So this is all about like the empire that you've built. So you've got the
Ugh,
blog,
such a kind
you,
word.
you've got the retreats, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. You do a few of those a
Hmm.
year, it looks like.
Hmm.
You've got brand deals. You've got obviously you launched Dalkin Co with Thomas. Like, let's talk about that, and let's talk about Gaby's too, the restaurant.
Sure. Sure. So Dalkin Co came about. I don't know. You and I talked about this, I think, offline earlier, but I had been working with William Sonoma on a product line for a number of years. It was like so fun and so educational and so cool to be able to have people touch a product and have a tangible product in their kitchen. So eventually we wanted to bring it all in-house and did, and took our most favorite products that I knew people were loving, and we launched with 4 seasonings. We've since launched 3 additional SKUs as far as seasoning goes. Plus like some gifty sets. We launched salt a year ago, and last year we launched coffee. So Dalkin Co is a pantry staple company. I'm not interested in getting into the business of shipping anything that's perishable. It's terrifying to me.
Or cookware, maybe? I mean,
sure, maybe, but like anything that's not going to spoil in shipping is fair game to me. But like shipping, there was a minute I really wanted to do baby food because I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I'm putting sweet potatoes and curry and peas and all these things into Poppy and Finn's mouth, and I would love to be able to give this to someone, but like the idea of baby food spoiling in shipping and showing up at someone's home moldy is like,
yeah, that's horrifying.
I feel anxious just talking about it. So anyways, not getting into the perishable space anytime soon. So anyways, we launched Dalkin Co, and Thomas runs it. We do all the customer service ourselves. Like we are like when I told you I am involved in every part of what's Gaby Cooking, Thomas is involved in every part of Dalkin Co. Operations, customer service, you name it. Like any sort of large corporate orders, all that kind of stuff. Our co-man, everything.
Is it 100% direct to consumer? Like through Shopify?
No, it's not 100% direct to consumer. Crate & Barrel carries us nationwide.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
We're in like a ton of like specialty good, like kind of boutique-y stores.
Sure. That's huge.
That's it. I would love to one day like go into grocery. However, that really changes. Like our stuff is in glass.
Yeah.
Oh, we're on Amazon. We're on Amazon now.
There you go.
Going into grocery would be amazing, but we would our product is like it's a luxury product. Like it is if you look at it ounce to ounce, it's actually the exact same cost, if not cheaper than like what you buy in a grocery store, but like it's a lot. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. The grocery world is a very different world, but we launched Dalkin Co 2.5 years ago, and a year ago plus.
Well, actually, hold on. Before we get to Gaby's, that decision to launch that, obviously you learned a lot through the experience with Williams-Sonoma.
Much.
Were you just like, hey, we have the audience, now we can do more and let's come up with some products to sell them? Or were you always just like, hey, these are the spice mixes I make, people freaking love them, like I need to package this up somehow?
I knew people loved them. I knew what the top performing SKUs were, and I knew I wanted to have control over what it looked like in a larger capacity and the way I sourced everything. So to me, it was like a natural step into, like ultimately you want to be able to own your own IP and products and all these things. So like we had the capacity to bring it in-house, so we did.
Amazing.
It took us a long time though. Like it took us a year or two to like get the co-man, get the 3PL, like build the website, create the assets. Like it was a process to get there, but ultimately, Thomas and I now have full creative control over it, and we get to do what we want. We get to do what we want with it, and I can listen to what people are asking for. Like, as I think it's hopefully come across, I have a very intimate connection with my audience, and I respond to all DMs. I read all the DMs. Like I know what people are looking for, and it's really cool to be able to provide products that satisfy what they need in their lives.
I think what's so interesting is that like so much of what you're saying, like your reason for doing this is around sharing something that you think is amazing with the world, not like, oh, I saw this opportunity once I hit 1 million followers to like start selling product too. You know what I mean? It's a nuance, but I think it really is likely a big part of why each of these initiatives has been so successful for you.
I thank you. That's very kind of you to say. And I agree. Like listen, like writing cookbooks is not a financial gain for me. If anything, it's actually a loss. So I think the things of money is not a driver. Like yes, it's important and we need to make money in order to survive and feed our family and all that kind of stuff. But like the decisions we make for what's Gaby Cooking are not always financially driven.
So why then open Gaby's, a restaurant? Tell us about it and like what the thinking was.
So Gaby's is my restaurant. We have one location right now, working on opening up some more. I never intended to open a restaurant. I worked in restaurants in high school. I saw how hard it was. Like it was, I've seen it with my own eyes. It's a stressor, and they don't last forever. And I was approached by a group of business partners, and we had been talking actually years prior about doing baby food together. And ultimately they were like, we don't want to do baby food. And ultimately I was like, me neither. So I knew them. I had a relationship with them. I admired them. They're badass guys. I love them very much. And they have incredible reputations, and they've done incredible things. So when they approached me to do something, I was like, if I'm ever going to do it, I'm going to do it with the best in class. And that's ultimately what made me kind of flip my thinking and being like, okay, this is cool. Like, well, let's try it.
And is that where you're loving in spending your time right now?
I love it. It is so much fun to learn about the restaurant industry, to the operations that go into Neighborly and Gaby. Neighborly is the overarching food hall, and then there are 5 or 6 concepts within each one. That's the way we're continuing to grow. The operations that go into it are so fascinating, and it was not a language I spoke fluently. And to learn about it is, I feel like cool. I'm getting a PhD in, a world I wasn't in. Yeah, like I wasn't in it. And it's the attention to detail from every single person involved, from the guys, Ben, who is like my favorite, incredible server at the restaurant, and watching him pay attention to every family that walks in there is like all the way up to the top. Like, it is beautiful. They have made an incredible company, and, Neighborly is a shining example of that.
So cool. So you're obviously not 20 years in, but you're almost 20 years in. 15, a lot of our customers are, they got started during COVID, or our listeners, I should say. They got started during COVID. They were maybe social media first. They took off. They're like just getting into the website and monetization world. Like, if you were doing this, or if you were speaking with one of them today, what are the 2 or 3 most important things that you think people should be investing in?
I think if you don't have a website, you should make one immediately. It doesn't have to be beautiful. You can work on it as you go, but you need to be able to own your content, your email list, and that's your hub. Everything comes back to that .com without fail. Everyone is social first now. Nobody starts a website first. And I think you have to do them in tandem. So number 1, that's the most important piece of advice. Number 2, as you have some funds to play with, hire people who are better at things than you are. Figure out what your love language is, for lack of a better word. What are your strengths? And you keep doing those, and you hire other people that can help with other things. So important as far as delegating and growing. And 3, figure out who you are and what you stand for. And no one can have your voice. Yes, there are 10 bajillion creators now, and everyone does food. Actresses are writing cookbooks. It doesn't, everyone wants to be in the food world, because honestly, the food world is so fun, and it's a healthy world for the most part. And people, like I said earlier, people who like to eat are good people. So, figure out what it is that you stand for and just hone that. You are in charge of your voice and the story you're telling. And that's your little world. Live and breathe it and make it really cool.
Love it. Love it. Good. Well, thank you so much, Gaby, for coming on. If you want to listen to the full...
so fun.
Good. If you want the full episode, comment, listen on the post, and we'll send you the full episode. We'll send you Gaby's restaurant, Dalkin Co, and all the other little nuggets from the episode. So thanks again, Gaby. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Ben.
If you made it this far, you're serious about growing your food empire. Thousands of the top recipe creators use Grocers List to drive more website traffic, grow their email lists, and earn more through paid memberships. Head to grocerslist.com/podcast to learn more about how we can help you grow, engage, and monetize your audience.